Dear students, we are going to discuss the subject Strategic Human Resource Management for the 5th SEM BA of Bangalore North University. This chapter aims to provide an understanding of the objectives of international compensation. The session outcome is the student will be able to discuss the objectives of international compensation. Students, first we will like to discuss the meaning and definition of international compensation. International compensation is defined as the provision of monetary and non-monetary rewards. It includes base salary, benefits, perquisites, long and short-term incentives. It's valued by the employees in accordance with their relative contribution to the multinational company's performance. Its broad HRM purpose, it is to attract and retain and motivate those personnel required throughout the MNC currently and also in the future. From the perspective of employees, in particular, compensation is one of the most visible aspects of strategic human resource management. Student, compensation is the amount of remuneration paid to the employee by the employer in return to the employee's service rendered by the employee. Compensation is also an extrinsic reward for the employee, which include praise by the superior, salary, employee benefits, career progression, etc. Almost all the employees accept job in MNCs to take up the assignment in various countries and take up the role and bear the inconvenience and discomfort in the foreign assignment, mostly based on the compensation package. Compensation is an integral part of human resource management, which helps in motivating the employees and improving the organization effectiveness. Compensation provided to the employees can be in direct form as monetary benefits and also in the indirect form in the form of non-monetary benefits known as perks, time off, etc. Compensation does not include only salary, but it is in the same of all rewards and allowances provided to the employees in return for their services. Compensation is an extrinsic reward for an employee, which include praise from the superior, salary, employee benefits, and other career progression. Almost all the employees accept job in MNCs only because of the compensation package offered by the MNCs. The objectives of international compensation is it should be consistent with the overall strategy, structure, and business needs of the multinational corporation. The international compensation must work to attract and retain the staff in the areas where the multinational has the greatest needs and opportunities. Hence, the policy must be competitive and recognize the factors such as incentive for the foreign service, tax equalization, and reimbursement of reasonable cost. The compensation should be in a such way that it should facilitate the transfer of international employees in the most cost-effective manner for the firm. It must give the due consideration to equity and in the case of administration. The objectives of global compensation can also be explained in a diagrammatic form that the effective compensation is one which acquire the personnel, which means that it should attract the personnel. Not only attracting the personnel, once the personnel they are being recruited, they should retain for a longer period. Because if the employees they are retained for the longer period, they will be experienced, and the experienced employees will be effective in order to turn out the work. And effective compensation should also be to ensure the equity. It should not create any type of disparities from one employee to the another employee, because it creates the inferior and superior complexity between the employees. The compensation should be in the form of rewarding the employee. It should not be to penalize the employee. It should reward the employee. It should boost up the morale of the employee. It should attract the attention of the employee. It should motivate the employee. When the employee is motivated, naturally he will put forth a good efforts in order to improve the production and quality of the products of the organization. And while preparing an effective compensation package, the organization should also think of the cost of that particular organization. The compensation cost should not be in such a high manner that it should not be a burden for the organization also. And effective compensation is one which comply all the legal formalities. The compensation should not be to the against to the legal formalities. And it should improve the administrative efficiency. The components of international compensation. The international compensation consists of base salary, foreign service inducement and hardship premium, and allowances such as cost of living, housing allowances, home allowances, education allowances, reallocation allowances, and spouse assistance, and other benefits. It means that it should consist of not only the basic pay, which supports the food, clothing, and shelter, but it should be in such a manner that it provides number of allowances to the employee, such as housing allowances, education allowances to their children, reallocation allowances, recreation allowances, which can boost up the morale of the employee. Factors affecting the employee compensation. While fixing the employee compensation, there are a number of factors which are affecting in the fixation of employee compensation. They can be classified as internal factors and external factors. The internal factors are ability to pay. It means that it is the ability of the MNC to pay the compensation to the employee. It depends upon the ability. And number two is business strategy, means strategy which they are applying. The strategy also plays a very important role at the time of fixation of compensation. And the number third is job evaluation and performance appraisal. It is nothing but how the employee work and what is his effectiveness and what is his work and what is its worth. And the external factors are labor factor. It means that what is the present rate of compensation in the market for the same type of employee, and what is the productivity, and what is the cost of living in the organization, cost of living in the environment, and what is the present cost of living. And it should also be in such a manner that it should be acceptable by the labor unions and the labor laws. Students, here are certain questions, multiple objective questions. Among them, number 1 is, which one of the following is not the part of process of human resource planning? The answer is recruitment. KSA represents knowledge, skill, and attitude. A group of positions that have similar duties, tasks, and responsibilities is called job. Campus selection is a dash source of recruitment. External, which is not an advantage to the internal source of recruitment. The answer is new blood. And here are the references.